So for him to just be like, yeah, I ain't seen it yet, but this is what I'm saying. I think that's an ignorant starting place anyway.
Very ignorant start, and considering how misunderstood he's been, not wanting
people want to give someone a chance to say their piece.
I can do it like money made, glamorous ting. 12 round unanimous ting. Casual fans on the analyst ting. That ain't KG and Travis's ting. That's undefeated, undisputed like Lennox. Do it on points, jab your head off. Who tried to say that AJ fell off? Must have never had Nigerian.
Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Undefeated podcast.
The only podcast with two undefeated fighters.
Chatting it up. Listen, we're not going anywhere.
Nowhere.
Subscribe, hit share as well.
Right now, do that for us. But anyway, bro, come on, man.
Talk to me, bro. What's your tale of the tape, fam?
Gee, I'm 0-0, fam. Never fought, never lost. But if I did, someone gets knocked out. And it's not me. But what's your tale of the tape, though?
Fam, what can I say, man?
Talk to me.
I struggle to find the words sometimes, you know what I mean?
I hear that, you know.
2-0. 50% knockout rate, bro.
That's what you did.
Half the men I've been in the ring with, man. Half of them left on their back, my bro.
Bruv. It's real. It's because that's what you do, cuz. You see it, bro.
Stop, bro.
Listen, before we move on, I just got to say, the response from our last episode was crazy.
Yeah, for real,
It was crazy. The response was crazy. Glad that so many people liked it. We got a mess. Lennox's missus.
Yeah, Lennox's wife.
Yeah, Lennox's wife tweeted.
Show some love on Twitter, man.
Said that she's a secret fan still. I enjoyed that. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah.
It made me smile. I was like, right, so wait, we get watched in the Lewis household. Yes. My granddad's happy, right?
Yeah. He did well still. I'll tell my dad, but he does not care, bruv.
What's that?
I would tell my dad, but he wouldn't care, fam.
You know what it is? I like those pods when we can talk. Like, obviously, this is a boxing podcast, but
yeah,
you know, sports and life and politics they intertwine. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, how I was thinking about it this week is like when we get into that bag and we're having those conversations. Yeah, boxing is the backdrop, but life is the topic.
Oh yeah, and it's together. They're one. We're talking about people. Right. You think to start a life of a boxer, you come from something. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to get punched in my face. Like, who does that?
Just straight out the gate.
Yeah, out the gate. Like, something has to be wrong to wake up and say, I want to get punched in my face. It's like, we were talking about this career. The fact that we go into a room, and be like, I'm going to make everyone like me.
I want to stand on stage in front of everyone and make you laugh.
In 15 minutes. That's crazy. Insane. That is crazy. So, again, yeah, man. I do love when we get into those conversations, but yo, let's do it. I've got some comments that's based. The kid just said, I felt this one. Yeah.
You know what's mad? Like, I got a couple messages as well. Guys were just like, yo, this one, I can't lie, hairs on the back of my neck for some of the stuff you guys were saying.
Yeah.
Like, but you know what's mad? When we finished recording, I said to you, I was like, we did something there, you know?
Yeah, literally. You know what's so funny? Because I knew you watched it and I watched it as well. I was saying to myself, we're going to come at this in a mad angle that I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was like, you've seen, like, when we think about it, Trav, we went to a lot of people might not know this, or you might know because you was just with us in that time of our journey. We went to the march, bruv. We was at the Black Lives Matter march, and it's so mad. Like, do you want to tell that story a little bit? We might as well, like, story time.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember that day because I actually wasn't planning to go. Like, it's funny because I do this joke about that whole day, and I get people like, "Oh, was that a true story?" I'm like, "That was KG." Like, I got this bit about, my friend phoned me up and said, "Come on, bro, we got to be there. And I wasn't planning to be there, so it's quite funny when we look at some of the stuff we on this pod and people are like, "Oh, Trevor X." And I was like, I wasn't there, bro. If KG didn't phone me that day.
Nah. It's so mad because the phone call that I had with Travis was like, I think, was you doing radio? We was doing radio then times.
Yeah, that's what
we was doing radio, and I was like, yo, we got voices. We have to be at this march. We have to be there.
And the thing is, it's like, it was on my to-do list to go to one of them.
Yeah.
But that day, I finished work. I was tired, bro. Like I'm walking to the bus stop, and it's a short journey as well. I just want to go home. Man phoned me up and ignited, man, with the speech. I said, yeah, I'll be there, bro.
But what's so crazy? So now me and Travis have got there, and this is when Philando Castile and Alton, I want to get his name right. Philando Castile, Alton Sterling. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Philando Castile, Alton Sterling. This is the time when that happened. And I thought the video I saw was the same thing that I was reporting about not knowing. It was two different. Overly triggered. Yeah. So we went to this march. What was so funny about it is me and Travis started at the back of this march. At the back, like
just cheering along and supporting.
And
you know what it was? It's like it was all scattered. So you feel like much was together or unite.
Yeah.
And you know when the guy with the speaker weren't really confident with it.
Yeah.
And it's come on, man, we're in the talking business. Like we can.
Yeah.
We know once we get to know what to say, we can get it cracking. Oh, the momentum.
It was very nuts. There's videos, there's imagery of like me on a bus stop. It's in my sister-in-law's house to this day.
I'm not surprised, bro.
It's up there, like it's crazy. And
but you know what? It was like one of those moments here where it's just a real momentum that starts. Like if you've never experienced a protest, it has an energy of its own.
Yes.
So it's like there's that moment where you're on the bus stop and I'm thinking to myself, that's my brethren. like we came together. And it's up there. I'm now in a sea of people looking around and then listening to everything he's saying. And I got there to the line. I'm like, yo, bro. And you know the ones there, you're on the bus stop now, and I've obviously seen man, help you get out there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Then it's like suits. Next they kind of, they let me know that like we're gonna stand here. I'm like, cool, because what can I say no to? Who am I?
Bro, you see the optics, yeah? Because I'm all about optics, yeah? Because the first when I got up, it was like a bit of a struggle, but somehow I was up there, yeah?
Yeah.
When I came down, I levitated down and I was surrounded by a man in suits and bow ties. Yes. Let me tell you, at that moment, I said, oh, I'm in trouble. Wait, someone came up to me. A woman came up to me and said, what's your name? And I was like, that's not important. Like, I wasn't that was the...
You remember, like, afterwards, so we're walking back after the protest and stuff, it's like come to an end.
Yeah.
And two random things happened. We walk past a restaurant. Jimmy Carr is sitting outside.
Mad.
You remember that?
Mad.
Big protest. They walk past Jimmy Carr. Then, when I come up to you, I think he had like, what, £50?
£50. They said, listen, what you lot did, creating this. Wait, this is the thing. This is the joke about it. They said us creating this march and organizing this was so big for the. I said, yo.
You just have to pretend it's like someone had to.
Yeah, someone had to. Now, the key part was getting to because we went to the American embassy, yeah, and it got to a point when I was like, oh, sugar, I'm leading a march right now. Yeah, I'm doing everything that my parents had told me not to do. Yeah.
I remember there was like a bit of back and forth when people want to do speeches.
Yeah.
But it's like it started to kind of drag a bit, and I think someone was just like, "Can you tell these guys to move from a certain bit because it was getting a bit congested?"
Yes.
And I see you like stepped into gear, like, "Yo, let's keep it moving," and I was just like, "Look what this day has become,
bro." It's the point when we got to the embassy, and I said, "Okay, everyone, it's time to go home now."
Yeah.
And they went home. I said, but this is why it was so that day, yeah, was like
was an important day still.
It was so important. It was so important, but it just again, when you're in a position, and it's so funny because talking about position today on what we've seen, what's transpired with just the boxing world and news, like last week. So what I'll say about position is you have to be very careful in a certain position. So when we was in that position of the march and we were at the front, because Travis gave mad interviews that day. Travis was talking to mad media.
Every time the camera was coming to you, you'd be like, "Yo, Trav, that's you."
And then but I knew I had a job to make sure it was calm. You know what I mean? And how we portrayed ourselves to the public. That was my job. I was like, I am so cognizant of the role that I'm playing right now. And I could have incited a whole madness.
And that's the thing, because it's like, especially with that time as well, like it was important for it to remain peaceful. That was the intention, where it's like, you don't want the media to latch hold to a moment that got out of hand,
steal it,
turn it,
and steal it.
Else.
Yeah, and it was so crazy because when you're like you don't think of you're not really thinking of your career properly in that moment, and how much danger you're putting your career in this position. But it was like it was too far in. And sometimes today, so we done a podcast, and I know I want to get into the comments. We done a podcast on Frank Bruno last week that everyone's like talking about, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Frank Bruno tweeted today before the royal interview is gonna be shown. That's the interview about Harry and Meghan and just the whole debacle around that. And I was disappointed, you know?
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing to feel the need to say.
I was disappointed. Like, go on.
Let me get the tweet up now, just so
there's 2 tweets as well.
Yeah. So the first one comes out and says, "Morning. I have not seen Harry and Meghan's full interview, but all I can say is I love the royal family. And as a proud Brit, I hate the fact that they seem to be imploding for the world to see. Am I the only one who feels like this?" Then goes on to say, "Evening." I love how he's just morning and evening. "Evening. So what are you watching on TV tonight? I was really honoured every time I met any of the royals. There was always a magic mystery to the royal family. Part of me does not want to watch the interview tonight as I don't want to spoil that magic. Have a good evening." And I'm like...
Go on. What's your takes on that? Just before I...
First of all, I'm not in the business like, there's been times on this podcast, like early on, I remember like a couple back and forths with like, different comments and stuff people might say.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that what we were about to discuss or what we were about to step into, I didn't know enough about. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to go back and I'm going to whatever, and we can talk about this next week. I don't know if you remember that guy about the Muslim kind of reference and stuff like that about the hijab. And I was just like, I don't know enough to be speaking on this. Let me go away. So for him to just be like, yeah, I ain't seen it yet, but this is what I'm saying. I think that's an ignorant starting place anyway.
Very ignorant start. And considering how misunderstood he's been, you think to yourself, knowing that,
people want to give someone a chance to say their piece.
At least, you've been probably the most misunderstood boxer in the game, and it for me, actually, let me not step on your point. Keep going.
No, I was saying, like, it's a misinformed place. So you start off, Key, like a sniper that starts off with 2 millimeters off, 100 meters down the line, it's way off the mark. Way off. You start going down this route of like, I didn't see it, but this is what I'm saying. I'm like, you're jumping to defend what? What are you jumping to defend? You don't even know what you're defending.
Yeah.
This is someone that's speaking on their experience. Should be allowed to do that. And you want to get ahead of it, like to say you're part of the team, fam. Like,
and do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Just to get into this conversation, because it's much. Remember when I said I was let down by Fury? When AJ stepped out and got involved in just Black Lives Matter and spoke out or read a message from somebody else.
Yeah.
Fury was very clever the way he maneuvered and manipulated the situation to probably win over a new audience that he never had before. It was cunning.
Fans who turned on AJ needed somewhere to go.
And he said, "Hey, I'm here for you." Understanding and knowing the heart of AJ, because they're friends. Outside of this boxing thing, there's real friendships amongst the heavyweights. There's almost like we've been to war. Yeah, we've been to war. No one else has been as brave as us. We're going to connect and have a level of respect on that level. So
no one's gonna understand us like us. That's what.
There you go. There you go. That, I think that's there. So for him to do that and know that AJ wasn't really doing that was a bit, for me, I thought that was low. I thought it was below the belt. And it was so funny because then when he had this thing with the Travelers and how Travelers have been mistreated, all of a sudden he had found a voice again. I'm saying, well, it was, and that's again where the disappointment comes from, because like, wait, you're coming from another marginalized community, for you to jump out and just for the sake of probably monetary and fan gain, you did that. So it now starts to question your integrity. You know what I mean? And when I get into the Frank Bruno thing, we went so ham in our defense of him and trying to really understand where he's coming from. And I knew that tweet, probably the first tweet, is a pander. It's in my hand. It's pandering in my sense.
So let's try and be objective here.
You can be.
It's not like I'm trying to necessarily throw him to the wolves.
I'm not doing that. I'm saying it.
Yeah, let's just break it down.
Carry on. Let's break it down. Let's go.
So the Harry and Meghan thing, and this is a worldwide story. Do you know what I mean? We're not under a rock. Yeah, this is a boxing pod, but the world is talking about this Harry and Meghan interview. Do you know what I mean? And there's so much history to this from Princess Diana. We've all grown up with this story in the background. I still remember the very day Princess Diana died.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you watch this little boy have to walk behind his mum, and she's, going to a funeral, and you see all the stuff about the media speculation and the fact there was paparazzi there, which might have contributed to the crash. There's so much going on. He's grown up with that story, and he's found himself in a marriage and had a whirlwind romance, and it's gone from embraced by the media to now vilified, and it's now we're seeing the history repeat itself. He's taking his family elsewhere to try and get away from that. It's a very emotional story, just on a human level.
Of course.
Do you see what I'm saying? So and now there's topic of racism, suspicion racism, how it's been, the double standards of how she's been treated compared to Kate, for example, and certain toxic headlines. There's a lot of stuff in this. So for them to do this interview, it's a big moment for them to finally speak against the media that's been hounding them, right? So with all of that going on, Frank says, I ain't seen it, but I love the royal family. So you say to yourself, like, where does that come from?
That's it.
What makes you feel the need to have a knee-jerk tweet to get ahead of something you ain't seen yet?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand why the media are flourishing articles, because that's the game they play.
Yeah.
They do narrative control, so we see it. But Frank.
Yeah. And it's just that's the most. And then where hold on, where is it? There you go. And it goes when it moves on, it says wait. As a proud Brit, I hate the fact to see they seem to be imploding for the world to see. Am I the only one that feels like this? Well, your message is directed. You know what I mean? And that's when I talk about the panda, in a sense. You know who you're talking to when you say that. It's not an inclusive message. Does anyone feel upset that the royals are being looked at this way? That's talking. And again, you get into the proud, you can still be British and not enjoy the message. You know what I mean? That was a key.
This is it. You can still be British and call out anything that's wrong. You can call out mistreatment, like somebody being mistreated. That I don't understand why there's this like a unit of we got to ride with this thing through the wrongs or the rights.
That's what upset me. I thought again, it's very clever. It's calculated. Again, when I say Tyson Fury in that situation with AJ, it was calculated. Yeah. I believe, this is just me coming out on a ledge. This is how I feel. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm getting from reading that. I'm trying to understand what's going on, because I've seen the messages he's got on the back of it, and they're all similar. They're all similar, in agreement, but then you see the negativity and the poisonous stuff within the comment section. So it's well, you knew this. You set this up. This wasn't a surprise. Only these types of messages are going to come. It's not a surprise that only you're seeing these types of messages. And then probably a part of him, for that reconnection, probably makes him feel good. it's like it's positive endorphins, almost like, oh my gosh, they love me. They love me. They still love me. And it's like,
even though I'm speaking from an ill-informed place. And the fact is, you know, as much as we look at this story with Harry and Meghan, end of the day, we don't know these people.
We don't know them. And
that's been, you know, I've had conversation with some people on Twitter. I actually had a mad back and forth with this one dude, actually. And he started off, I thought it was just a troll.
Yeah.
He's like, he came back and he was just like, because basically, some guy tweeted basically, oh, it ended badly for Diana and it's going to end bad for you. And, you know, it's like, we tried to warn you, Harry, but you decided to do your own thing. And I was just like, you lot tweet like you and Harry used to be boys, fam. Like, and he betrayed the man them. I was like, you man are funny. So he come back to me and he's like, oh, you just on your pro-black, this and that. He goes, Meghan, I don't even see race. And then he goes, yeah, Meghan, she's just so manipulative. So I thought, you know what? This is one of those times where sometimes I like to debate just because. Do you know what I mean? I could just block him and get him the hell out of here. But I was like, why do you say that about Meghan? What's manipulative about her? And it's like, the back and forth went for a while. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, let me just nail down points. He goes, oh, I bet you didn't say anything when Kate was being mistreated. I said, well, you know, there's been a clear double standard. I said, I can give you an example. Boom. Then he goes, well, as soon as you want to use articles from other sources, I can give you one as well. And it was about how Kate has been mistreated, but it looked like it was written on some random blog site. It was bare, not official. So I said, all right, this is what we're doing. So, and then I said to him, you keep speaking like you know these people, like you know any of this information. You don't. And that is what I'm saying. So when you have formed an opinion on how she's manipulative, I'm asking you to explain why. So then he goes to me further down a few more exchanges. He goes, yeah. And also, you got to remember that you don't know that they're innocent. I said, exactly. But I'm not speaking like I do. I'm only challenging people who are so defiant on this.
That's it.
Then he sent me a DM. You know, first of all, he goes to me, can you follow me back, please? Just so that we can, you know, knock this on the head and we can go on with our days. So I thought, normally I would just air that. Cause I'm like, you're on what you're on, so I'm out. I thought, you know what? I followed. DM'd me. He goes, you know what? He goes, first of all, I just want to thank you for keeping this convo at this level. Yeah. And, you know, it could have got messy, but, you know, we kept it at a certain place. And he goes, you know what? You're actually right. I can't justify having those feelings because there's nothing I can say to prove it.
Yeah.
He goes, nothing, you know, there's no evidence. And I was like, I responded and I was like, cool, you know what? Boom. We had this conversation, is what it is. You know, I'm glad we can come from a different place and have a debate and have a conversation. He goes, and then he goes to me, he goes, I've deleted all my messages as well, just so that it doesn't attract more of that attention. And he goes, yeah, you've gone up in my estimation. And I was thinking to myself, I said, cool, big up. But I'm not here to go up in your estimation.
It's not about that.
I'm here to show what this is all about. This, in my estimation of how I've assessed it, this is not them saying we're getting away from this country, everybody is treating us like crap. No, they're specifically talking about the media. So when people's now comeback is like, oh, they're just rushing to America, they clearly still want to be in the media. And I'm like, no, they don't want to talk to you, British media. Because of how you guys have treated them. So the fact that you're not included in the mix is now making you play a dirty hand and now paint her out to be this person. So now everybody's bought into the narrative of who this person is. Now they've gone somewhere else to challenge it from another space to speak against it. That's how I'm looking at this, because there's a lot of things at play. So when people are coming out and they're just like, I don't like her, she makes me sick. No, you've got your information from this source that they're challenging.
Yeah. It's so, do you know, it's so funny though, because...
And then Frank Bruno in the mix of all that. You know what I mean, Eric?
And no one from the boxing community got involved. But Frank, no one. And it's like, again, we're
just watching the thing play out, but then there's Frank.
Yeah, I think just give people especially that someone that lives the life and someone that's had it all, because you should just be able to relate on a human level that you've had it all and you went through everything you've gone through. Like, on that basis, there should be a connection, because, you know, there's been an argument about being broke. And I mean, being rich, so you shouldn't have those issues. You know what I mean? That's been something, or it's COVID. Don't talk about that.
What have they got to moan about?
What have they got to moan about? And you think to yourself, I never forget the joke that Chappelle told. Very dark, but it's talking about Anthony Bourdain. he starts this and he's talking about, this guy had a chef show when he eats in all the nicest places and the darkest joke ever. But he makes a point about mental health, and you think to yourself, the saddest thing about us as a community and stuff is you talk about compassion. And the funny thing is, the other day, and not saying I feel bad for showing Bruno compassion because he deserves compassion, but it's like you say to yourself, there's a time for you to step up, and those that know better should do better. Are you with me? Especially if something where you've been misjudged and missed without you getting to speak. You've never said your piece.
He's gone through mental health issues himself.
There you go. You never said your piece. There you go.
And that's why you look crazy speaking from an uninformed place. When you start thinking, you would actually relate to those feelings of mental health issues.
100%.
Not to say that they're one and the same.
Yeah.
But when Frank was going through it,
Yeah.
It was in the press, all this other stuff. Now, my look at the double standard of society when we say, when Caroline Flack died, be kind, was all over the place.
Be kind.
And here's Megan saying, I had suicidal thoughts. And then you got someone like Piers Morgan just out here saying, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
So it's like, does someone need to die to prove that this thing was real for them?
It's mad. And that sometimes I think that's what it is. It's like, again, it's just a merry-go-round. And when you go back to that media and how they can, even to tie in with boxing, the media switched the narrative on AJ. Like it or not.
Oh, yeah.
The media switched the narrative on AJ. We saw it even with Jade Goody. She was hated, then became a national hero. Do you know what I mean? They build her up and he broke her down. We've had it with many sports stars. David Beckham. The media went. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There is a history with this. There's a history of, even I can imagine Ricky Hatton. The day that Ricky Hatton lost, he was the spread of him. The check and him being knocked out on the front covers of the paper. I know it's different.
I know it's slightly. Yeah.
I know it's different, but I'm talking about being a darling and then
losing it,
but losing in a way where it was raw. Like, was you lot ever with me? You know what I mean? And the answer is no. So for me, it's just, I just wish, I hope, and I still, the funny thing is, I still like to talk to Frank Bruno. Do you know what I mean? Even as we are here, I'm saying, I like to just have a conversation, but I was disappointed. If I ever got to meet him in person, I'll say, that was weird for me. That felt calculated, that felt like this. I would love to hear your points on this, but...
because given the nature of these discussions on these particular points, you said that you've taken that stance. I'd love to do a deep dive. But then, to be fair, I'd like to talk to Frank about a whole lot of
everything, not just that. But I think it was. But anyway, we can move on. But again, listen, people. I know this is the boxing podcast, but life will come in, and certain times you got to address it. But anyway, onto boxing news, bro. Have you seen Andy Ruiz, fam? Andy Ruiz has respected this lockdown.
He's been training. I think it's a weird one because I'm like, I don't know how good Andy Ruiz is, like what level I say he's at. Like, I don't think of Andy Ruiz and think, oh, snap, now he's going to get straight back in the mix for, AJ Wilder and Fury. Like, I don't see that.
But Andy Ruiz,
But Dillian Whyte level.
No. The reason why I'll say it's a bit different is, who did we hear from? Someone spoke about losing Tyson. I'm not saying Andy Ruiz and Tyson are the same. I'm talking about when Tyson said he won his title, he wasn't ready for his next fight, and he just got all the money, like he became the man, and he didn't get enough time to acclimatize to being the guy. Like, he wanted to spend, he wanted to do this, he wanted to do that, he wanted to live a certain life. Even we had O'Hara. Sorry, I'm thinking O'Hara, but Tyson had something similar in his story as well. And even O'Hara said, even when he was living it, he said, like, I started doing things that I've never done before. Now, that's on O'Hara's, no disrespect to O'Hara, but it's not the heavyweight champion of the world. You didn't go and take all the belts, You took, like, you became a guy, but Ruiz became a next level millionaire, bruv.
So do you reckon the best thing AJ could have done was go for that rematch straight away? Rather than let it fester.
Straight away, because again, remember, that guy is hungry, but you you can see by the look of him, he was not serious about this.
You gotta say, he was hungry, but he just ate. Now's the time to get him.
Because he was on sneak. Go on, carry on.
And the thing is, man have to be strategic when they go for the rematch in some cases. Like Sugar Ray Leonard, when he went for the rematch with Roberto Duran.
Yes.
He, through his own, networks, found out, right, he's not really looking after himself.
Yes.
He's blown up in weight. And, the party lifestyle is getting to him. And he's like, all right, cool. Make it for September. Let's go.
And look at that, Travis. Look at
his whole camp losing weight, fam.
Look at that, Travis, though. Are you seeing how it needs to work? Because Sugar Ray Leonard understands this guy is enjoying. This guy has achieved something and he's in a different place in his mind that I've lived here. Like, AJ's never going to be excited about making money because he keeps making money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I have been the underdog. AJ's been primed to be the champion. It's very different, and you have to respect AJ's mental fortitude because he's always been the main guy. Again, as you said, we talk about Tyson Fury. He's always been the underdog, and he's always had to rise up again. Right. Whereas somebody walking around as the main man and knowing that before even being it is a very different level of pressure. But then
very different.
The grace of that is I prepared myself for this space. Andy Ruiz took this fight on a whim. And even a part of him must have thought, bro, like, could I be AJ or am I just getting for a good payday and I might be able to get on a few matchroom cards? Then the night changes completely and all of a sudden, boom, I'm champion. What?
I'm walking around Mexico, the first Mexican heavyweight champ.
How?
Different love.
Chains.
Man, I'm mentioning my name with Canelo all of a sudden.
I'm in pictures with Canelo. What we talking about? I've got the chains. Snickers say, yo, big, I'm giving you the deal, bro. Like, you were the face. We saw him on every part of branding. Yeah, and
he even had everybody looking at bodybuilders kind of funny. Like, right, like, you got these get touched in the high in the temple, you can go, yeah?
Gee, I cancelled my membership, fam. You saw the speech, bro, that man dropped. When
I was giving respect to everybody anybody who wanted it. I was like, nah, you might be on some Ruiz.
You could be a Ruiz, bro.
I'm not having that, bro.
So again, like he's gone and it's a shame because he didn't have enough time to deal with the lifestyle. Now that's done. Now that is done, and they like it or not, the day that we saw AJ fighting Ruiz, that guy's dangerous. Period. He is dangerous. And even
he didn't look after himself for that second fight.
He didn't. But then even when we saw the fight, we was watching it together, live in front of like loads of people. There was moments when near the end of when the fight was ending and Ruiz was trying to suck at AJ into, and we was like, AJ, don't engage. We was shouting,
don't engage. Yeah. But you know what though? Like I don't view that fight as an egregious thing like how some people do where they say, oh, but you went there and danced, you didn't knock him out. Because I look at that and I think to myself, sometimes that's how you go beat certain man. Like,
I agree.
Look at how Lewis fought David Tua.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, he put hands on him, but at the same time, Lewis showed he can move. He showed he can flex the jab and knew what he needed to do to beat him. Because it was like, I could trade and exchange with this guy, but it could get messy for no reason.
I really wanted him to.
I can definitely.
Go on, Karen.
You got two choices, yeah. I can definitely win this way, or I might. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can fight this way.
Yeah. And you know what? Again, to praise AJ, I would say that him being able to beat someone that beat him so bad is a credit. And again, the world, not just the whole boxing world, turned against AJ when he lost. We've never seen like, I don't think I've seen it.
Criticism on that degree.
The critique. It was heavy. It was
AJ
heavy.
was called a hype job. They said he was this and that.
Yeah.
And what was good about it is that he actually came back and reinvented himself.
Yes.
He didn't come back and just go, all right, I need to put the foot down earlier. Same game plan, but just from early and just get him out of there.
Yeah.
No, he just said, okay, cool. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to go 12 rounds. I'm going to show people I can box for 12 rounds. That for me was far better than coming back and knocking him out.
Yeah.
Because you do knock man out. Whereas now you're saying, right, boom, man he was on that bow, giving him this one, like moving. I was like,
I like to see him do it again, though. I like to see Ruiz come again and AJ just muller him. I would like to see it. That's something that I feel like, you know, when Deontay Wilder talked about Stavern and unfinished business, even though there was nothing to unfinish.
No unfinished business. The
business was finished. Yeah. That's unfinished business for me. It's like, yeah, go and do that one because he needs to know in it. You need to let him know.
I reckon by the time he gets around, you got to look at it like this. He's going to batter him. And the reason why I say this, by the time he gets back around to Ruiz, he would have fought Fury twice. Yeah. He would have potentially fought Dillian Whyte. Maybe Wilder.
Wait, you say that now. You say he would have fought Dillian Whyte, yeah? And Dillian Whyte has been in the comments. I just want to jump in like on this point so we can...
I say potentially, to be fair. But
okay. Yeah. Dillian Whyte has been in the comments with Ruiz. He's like, shut up. Yeah. And you think to yourself, Dillian, you got a big fight coming, bro. Like, I love the fact that you're on smoke and you're on this level of crud here, but very quickly, we can X you out of the conversation. You know what I mean? If Povetkin night doesn't go the way it needs to go, if it does not go the way it needs to go, your name changes within, like, in terms of the weight, in terms of like a credit check.
It just becomes a new Chisora. Straight hard fat.
Straight away.
Gatekeeper.
New
if
gatekeeper.
You lose to Povetkin, it's Chisora territory.
Joe Joyce nights. You got the Joe Joyce, Dubois. No, I'm saying those are the people that you...
Chisora's still having big nights. He's still having big nights.
No, I'm not saying like that. I'm saying that as in, you got to fight people that are really trying to cut through now. They're like, okay, I'm the new person that is trying to prove I'm the guy that's meant to be here. So then, like a Joe Joyce would have to go through him. A Dubois would have to go through him if he's on the ascendancy back up to the top is what I mean when I say that vibe. And you think to yourself, like, we are one fight away from having that discussion. At the moment, we can call it a lucky shot. I'm still calling it a lucky shot. I'm not calling it a lucky shot. I'm still calling it oh my God, something happened. He was a wounded animal. Sorry, wounded people in a very difficult place where nowhere to run. Get inventive. And you got caught. That's how I want to see it. You know, but again, if a madness happens, I can't see it like that no more. You know what I mean?
And I don't know how I feel about the Povetkin, the rematch. I don't have any feelings about where I think it's going to go. I just think it's going to be a very exciting night for boxing because, you know, Dillian cannot afford to lose.
Yes.
For the sake of his career and progression. It can't end. Eddie Hearn loves Dillian. He loves Dillian Whyte.
Loves him.
He will turn his back on him.
Yeah.
We'll see. We won't see another pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You can't pay-per-view, man, when you're losing like that. It's just straight facts. And what territory is that? Chisora. Chisora just fought Usyk, bro. So it's not like Chisora is that far away from the thing.
Yeah.
If Chisora beat Usyk, Chisora would be in that combo.
Big combo.
For a shot.
Big combo.
So now it's like, that's literally where Dillian Whyte is flirting with.
Yeah, so he's flirting with that.
To get it done.
And you know, you say to yourself, because even Chisora now, Chisora is a G though, and again,
Chisora is a proper bad man. How he's navigated his career. He's like, listen, win or lose, I've got a big night coming.
Salesman.
So whatever it is, I'm giving 100%. I rate him.
Salesman. The fact that he's, you know, him and Parker are getting like.
He was gonna fight Dillian Whyte 2 weeks after fighting Usyk, just because of Povetkin pulling out. He said, "Listen, I'm good."
This is it. This is what I'm saying. And you know what?
Right there, boy. David was right there in his salesman bag.
David Hay always there to, you know how.
You look, if the fans want it, then I'll speak to Derek. I'm sure Derek's up for it. I'm up for it. I think this is what the fans want. Bro, he's not. Who's more animated than David Hay when he's promoting? When David Hay's promoting, boy, he's giving it all of his face.
You said, I'm up for it.
He's up for it. Bro, who's giving up the like that, bro? David ain't something else, bro.
No,
but Chisora versus Parker,
What say you? What say you on that one? Who wins that?
Do you know what? I feel like Chisora might grind him out. The reason why I say that is Parker's got something about him that I just don't like. And it's not that I don't like it as in like, I can't stand it. It's more like, it just doesn't make me feel trusting in you.
Yeah.
There's a lack of a mean streak about his personality. And even when I see the funny videos he does on social media, I think, he's funny still. He's got personality. But that's in the ring as well, where it's like, you ain't got nothing about you that makes you think, he's going for the kill now.
Yeah.
It's over. If I know if my fight is hurt against Joseph Parker, there's a big part of me that knows he's going to survive that round.
When you think of Parker, you think of immediately you're supposed to think of New Zealand, and you're supposed to think of like All Blacks and intimidation.
Yeah,
the ritual. I don't get it.
I love that ritual, by the way.
It's the greatest. Exactly, the hacker. Like they came out, like them man came against Dillian. Dillian said to Parker, "You're like." We saw how Dillian mistreated Parker in that interview. It was like. It was nasty. It wasn't even good, bro. It looked like the Firm. I don't know what's that group that they keep talking about in that last interview I was watching. The mistreatment was crazy. That's what I'm saying.
It was mad, yeah. This is literally the first time I've heard this term used.
Never heard of it before.
I had no idea this is how
I don't know who them man are.
I saw some tweets and they were like, this is what they call themselves. I'm like, raw. That's how they give
When you call yours, like, because
that's a strong name.
You know, when you pick a name of a gang, yeah, I gotta say, like, there's names in it where you say raw, yeah. There's certain names that ring off.
You know what I think of?
Go on.
I think of, like, you know them football fans that meet up to fight. Them man there where they're just like, bro, yeah. 4 o'clock.
I see Trafalgar Square. But this is what it is. Now it's like, we're in the name of all of that. So you think to yourself, it's a good name because it sounds, the intimidation is there. The main thing I'm saying with Parker is, I don't feel the intimidation of the roots, what I should feel. And the funny thing is, he's got the weapons because he's fast. At the end of the fight against Dillian.
He had a fight a couple of weeks ago against FA something. I can't remember the guy's name, FA something, or somebody will correct me in the comments, please. Yeah. And he didn't look amazing, bro. Like, really? Yeah, he got the decision, but he didn't look that great.
Was he fighting at home?
Yeah, it was in New Zealand. So that, like, the time was like morning time, our time, but it was live.
Yeah.
So watching it, I'm like, I don't see why Chisora's not in with a shout in that fight.
No, but certain times I think he will raise his game.
Yeah, but he's there to be hit. Parker's there to be hit. Like, he's a tough guy. Don't get me wrong. He ain't chinny or anything stupid like that, but he's there to be hit, man. So them men are going to be in a slugfest.
Is that Junior Farr? Wait, Junior Farr.
Yeah. So I think the fight will look pretty much like how the Dillian Whyte Parker fight looked.
Yeah.
A bit more roughhousing. I can see a bit more 50-50 rounds, but yeah, it can get cracking, man.
Ruthless. I'm excited. I'm hoping for a ruthless knockout, but again, as we got many big fights that we're doing live. With the watch-alongs, and we got so many stakes, bro. That Dillian Whyte night, I swear our boy Congo's fighting on that one.
Congo's fighting that night, yeah. I'm very excited about that. That Congo fight, bro. Because I know that, bro. I told man afterwards, you need to be sticking it on these men in the post fight. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Joshua Buatsi coming back 15th of May. He's headlining the show.
He needs a performance, actually.
I find it interesting, that he's starting to headline now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because he made that step for his first headline against the last guy he fought. Yeah. That was a good fight. But like before that, he wasn't a headliner.
Well, you know what? But the injuries. He suffered with a lot of injuries. Go on.
At the same time, you got to build everything to be a headliner.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So he's headlining the show, and this does go back to what I said before when I said that his profile was rising alongside Yards.
Yes.
Because of the link. So I'm not saying that to insult. I'm just pointing out the strategy. So when I look at boxing now, you need that. You need that link so that you can grow together. Like, okay. So
I hear what you're saying, but where it gets more interesting is
now there's a potential fight. I mean, not necessarily to like buddy up. But
but Craig Richards does that for him, though.
Say again?
I think Craig Richards does that. If Craig Richards secures the belts, you will hear a lot more. Like, it wouldn't be quiet. Then you'd hear
his name is linked to Bivol.
No, I'm saying Craig Richards has to go and win those. If he wins those belts, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Saying, in the meantime of that fight coming up, his name is linked to Bivol now on the world stage because he's got that fight pending. So all I'm saying is that fight a link where it's like me and you. Like Conor Benn and Josh Kelly would have been that.
Yeah.
Had they not fought each other, there would have been that constant, and the name would have created something. So now that we see that, Yard is kind of, for the time being, falling out of that conversation.
Yeah.
Buatsi it's going to be interesting watching Buatsi's career go up because there's no reason to say his name when Yard isn't in the conversation.
While you're talking about Yard, I'm actually going to go and check on his Instagram and see what Yard's up to,
Yard's training.
What, in London?
In the gym. Yeah.
With who?
It's not clear. No one, no one's visible. It's only literally Yard that you ever see.
Oh, he's just actually doing weights and stuff.
Yeah, he's in the gym working.
That's weird. Is there no voices as well? Let me try and wait.
You're not gonna see any.
No, it still says it, bro. You can't keep this. You can't keep the slogan if you're not part of the team. It says Lions in the camp.
You're gonna be a lion wherever he goes, bro.
Bro, you're not taking the slogan, fam.
What? So do you think Tunde could go around and say Lions in the camp without Yard?
I don't think we can say it without each other.
Nah, they can. They can.
I can just go on there and say Lions in the camp. Where am I saying that?
Goes with Yard. Yeah.
I don't know,
Sunday will go around, dream it, believe it, become it. That's his. But the Lion thing, that's Yard's branding. Everything's Lion. Like that's him.
All right. I don't know.
All I'm saying is he's back in the gym training. But my point was about Buatsi. Now, your name ain't linked to no one. Your name ain't linked to anybody right now on any domestic, European, no one.
Yeah, that's
so
because
now we're gonna have to see Yard's branding. Buatsi, his profile. He's gonna have to work.
Well, he's lucky because the work is easy, as we heard from O'Hara and just many different fights. Even Craig said, "Look, Olympic experience. The fact that I'm the face, I'm the next guy. I would say he had an even better push than Conor Benn, but now Conor's kind of taken control because it's been so quiet. Like there's been many, like him being injured has affected the bag. I don't think Conor was looked at as because I think for a while Conor was quite overlooked. People weren't really like.
Yeah. But the thing is, like you look at say someone like Luke Campbell.
Yeah,
he was an Olympian as well, and he didn't exactly become a star fighting on a world stage. So the Olympian thing gets you so far.
But I've seen so many interviews. I've seen so many interviews, and I've always heard Eddie Hearn speaking Buatsi up every single time. Even he tells us about things that Buatsi does off camera, how he acts in his change. He's really trying to. I can see him putting work into building up this character because no one kind of knows who he is.
And that's why he's going to have to start doing more now that Yard is not there.
Yeah. I agree.
Link yourself to. You
I
see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Because otherwise, who's more exciting than Yard in the light heavyweight division, profile-wise?
No one until... Not saying no one, but if Craig is able to do what he's saying...
But I'm saying even the champions, bro. I don't care what people up to.
Yeah. It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So now Yard losing hurts Buatsi.
It did hurt him because there was. I think it's both of it. Well, it's one of the things where we kind of both need to do our jobs. As you're saying with the Conor Benn Kelly, we both needed to win to really build this into overdrive. You know what I mean? Even we've seen it already with Deontay Wilder and AJ. We were building towards a crescendo. It was Fury gets tucked in, AJ versus our best versus your best, and that's gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. That person's no longer in the conversation. Luckily, AJ's a big enough name already. He doesn't need to attach himself because he is the name. I think people attached it themselves to him. And Fury, what he did, because Fury, what's so crazy is Deontay Wilder and Fury's fight was built on the back of AJ. No one was checking for these men like that until they said he's scared. They had to use AJ as he's the chicken, but we're on it. We're gonna fight each other. But that guy over there, he ain't like us. You know what I mean? And man,
it all transpires that he's the one making offers.
He's the one making offers. It's nuts.
So it's all about who can control the narrative realistically.
And what is that? And what is that? Sometimes we call that media spin. Just a callback. Just a callback. That's what in comedy we call that one a callback. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's so crazy, man. What else is going on in boxing? We got Jake Paul's fighting. We don't care.
It's mad though. They're charging like $49 for their pay-per-view. To be fair though,
YouTubers are buying it.
Yeah, they'll buy it. But he's fighting Ben Askren, like the UFC guy.
Mm-hmm.
If Jake Paul beats him, what do you think that does for Jake Paul's stock?
What are we doing though? Is that a boxing? Is that boxing?
It's a boxing match, but it's a real one though. And the guy's a UFC fighter, so it's like he's not really known for his stand-up game. But you get a scalp like that, it starts to add a little bit more.
It starts to get nuts. It starts. All of a sudden, you're like the story's looking better. It's gonna be.
What I'm saying.
I think it's
Tommy Fury.
Yeah, I really wanted to see as much as Tommy Fury was talking. I wanted to see it. I want to see it. You know what I mean? And
wouldn't it be crazy? Yeah. That he'd be like the first winning record opponent that he'd be up against. But you say your biggest test is a YouTuber. And the thing is, I don't even say that to really take the mick out of Tommy Fury's opponent because when you've got a limited pedigree amateur, you start your career slow. So you work your way up with the opponents is what it is. It's normal stuff in boxing. People are making a big deal because he's famous. But that Jake Paul fight would be funny.
What I think is funny though is we had Idris Bergo.
For the removal of all doubt. I think Tommy Fury absolutely smokes him.
What if he doesn't though?
I don't see that happening, bro.
Listen,
that Fury camp know what they're doing when it comes to boxing.
They do know what they do.
I would never feel like they're putting him out there mad.
They do know what they're doing, but again, like we had high hopes for Deontay Wilder's brother, and it was nuts.
When you're
talent just doesn't fly. No, it doesn't just go. It doesn't just flow to the other brother. That's what I'm saying. Like stuff you can do.
I'm just saying he wouldn't need to be world class to beat Jake Paul. He just needs to have some boxing experience, and he does. He is in a fighting family. Like he comes from that. So it's like to look at him and think Jake Paul who started boxing a few years ago. That's not how boxing works.
It's true.
You can't just pick up boxing and be like, yeah, I love this thing now. I'm going to compete with men who've been doing it since they was 10.
It's true. It's true, but I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I want to see it because I'm like, I still have questions. That's all. It's like, I'm intrigued. I just say to myself, because we don't know, even when we saw the outing that he did on BT Sport, I wasn't thoroughly impressed. I wasn't like, oh my God, like you're the next Messiah or nothing. It just looked like,
no, I'm not saying anything to that.
No, but I'm saying even on a standard, you know, when you see Bentley or you see like different fighters and you say, you know what?
But they're further ahead though as far as experience goes.
Yeah. But don't you think some natural components need to be there? Because sometimes I should look at someone and say, oh, you're going to go somewhere. You know what I mean? You look at someone and say...
Well, look at Conor Benn when he started, yeah? The amateur pedigree wasn't really there. He was very, very raw. And he slowly started to refine by having slow improvement fights.
Yes.
That's some bad choice.
But did you enjoy the raw? When you look at the raw, yeah? Because you know you look at someone and say, oh, you're raw talent. But that raw talent is like, it's exciting. That's the only point I'm getting at. Because you still look at Conor and you say, oh, it's raw, but there's something exciting here. You know what I mean? When you didn't see that.
It's too early to say. I just think it's too early to say.
All right, well, we'll see. That again.
I do have something to say though.
Go on.
How long do you think it's going to be before someone takes an L to a YouTuber? Because obviously,
a big fighter.
Remember, we got the Jake Pauls and Logan. They're now YouTube. They're the first wave.
Yeah.
There's going to be more.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of time before a YouTuber comes in and gets a win over a real pro fighter. How long do you reckon that's going to be till that happens?
Well, Vidal Riley,
two, 3 years, I say.
2-3 years? Yeah, I'd say I'm gonna call it. Yeah, I'm say 2 years as well. Actually, Vidal Riley, what will he be classed as? Because he's done more.
We're not doing that. Vidal Riley is a bona fide fighter. He happens to have a YouTube channel.
That's flourishing. That is flourishing, though.
Very different energy. I'm talking about
a true YouTuber.
The ingredients will probably be ex-amateur fighter background, didn't turn pro, YouTuber now. Gets into it with a fighter, calls him out, comes in, has enough, gets the win.
That's mad. I wouldn't like to. That day would be a really sad day for me, though.
It'd be madness, bro.
It'd be a sad day.
Though, the difference between being a good amateur and a terrible pro is not miles off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's I know man who have sparred with certain men and handled them. Do you know what I mean? Now, that's not to say that man can't just have a bad day in the gym, but a good amateur pedigree can have you up close to a pro or have you even above him. So you're like, boy, this could be nuts. Say a man like Ben Whittaker.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
For some reason, don't turn pro. He raps. He's got personality. He could just be like, I'm a YouTuber now. Boom. And now he's doing back and forth online. Gets into it with a fighter and that, and he's like, big man, I'll bang you up.
Yeah, bro. And you know what's so mad? We've seen stranger things happen this year. Like, I thought 2020 was crazy. 2021 and Soulja Boy and Randy Orton and just wrestlers getting into Bow Wow, getting into this WWE beef. You say to yourself, listen, this year, anything's possible. No one expected a tell-all interview of Oprah and the Royals. It happened this year. Once again, no one. There's gonna be things you're gonna say, I didn't see that coming, bro. I saw a video of Canelo speaking perfect English.
Who knew,
bruv? Perfect. Not even
that means when he's got the translator there
for no reason,
he's basically just saying, "I'm just gonna have you lot do what I want you to do." That's insane. That reminds me of an old joke I had, where basically I said that I used to sign up when I had like low self-esteem or if I felt bad about myself, I'd sign up for English language courses and pretend to not be able to speak English just so by the end they think I was a genius.
I hate you know.
Yeah, that's ancient.
Yeah, but Canelo though I watched that video and I was like, wait, what? It was, bro, fully busting joke. Nothing was broke. It was just perfect. And I said to myself, oh, you're a G. So all this time when you've been giving interviews,
doing translator,
you've been doing translator for no reason. And even when you hear the translation, a part of you knows when the translator is chatting, he's chatting shit.
He's giving you half the story.
He's like, I didn't say that.
You know what the maddest thing is though? You feel for translators sometimes when the guy's talking, but he's talking mad long. Mad long. What do you think about the performance tonight? And he's just like, bum, 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 and he's just going, and the translator's like, come on, all right, give me you're gonna break, and you're gonna let me catch this. Oh my days.
Nah, anything else? No.
That's way too short, bro. There's no way you capture all of that.
He said yes. You know when they did a long answer? Yeah, he said he agrees.
Yeah, he likes it. He likes what happened.
What else is there? Devin Haney. Someone's finally got the cojones to step in the ring with him.
Linares.
Yep.
I think it's a good fight. I expect Haney to get right the way through that one. Linares is that dude that's like just a step below after taking them L's.
Yeah. Dude, my only issue with this though is Devin needs a performance, and sometimes this one might take the eyes off him. I hope it doesn't work in a negative effect to him. You know, when you say he fights someone and he should be fighting the main guys, and then now it's like he doesn't look all that good, or he just puts
He's gonna have to win, but just not be devastating with it.
This is it. So it's hopefully we'll see where that one goes. But again, I'm happy that he's got an opponent. I think I'm be interested to hear if Gervonta Tank Davis is no longer injured immediately. Now this has been announced. I'm interested to see what happens there. What else is there? Any other topics?
No, man.
That's it. We did it. People, thank you for watching. We didn't even read the comments, bro. Do you want to read a few comments or just leave
actually didn't. Flip me.
Should we read the comments? Yeah, because we started there and then we just got into a mad one. Let's just say, just a shout out. You can read that for.
Alright, cool. We got one from I'm gonna try and say his name. Abdul Rahman Al Gamdi.
Yeah.
Said, I absolutely know nothing about boxing, but I wouldn't miss your shows anywhere. Car, home, wherever. Your vibe brightens the day.
Bro, that's mad, you know. But thank you so much for that. That's crazy. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, a question for KG. If your dad didn't go with Kevin, what Nigerian name would he have gone with? I got a Nigerian name, man. It's a Buatsi. It means fine boy. It's like a joke thing. Like he could have like worked harder. Like like my brother's name's like, what do you call it? God's love, God's great. Like they've got like the God connection.
Fine boy, you know.
Fine boy. That's all it means, bruv. It's such a liberty. My sister, a Buatsi, so you can imagine what that means, Travis.
Fine girl, yeah. Is it? I don't know.
Literally, yeah, it is. It is.
Okay,
It is. Oh, yeah, fine. That's what I'm saying. like my dad is a joker, but yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Got another one from Puneet. He goes, Bruno never really got the respect he deserved as a boxer. He was either the docile lump, the plucky trier, the unlucky loser, the silly spectacle, or the madman. He might have been loved for nearly all those things, but we were nearly always laughing at him, not with him. He did get credit for becoming champ, but we quickly went back to plucky trier, unlucky loser when he lost to Tyson. Okay. He was regarded in the same class as Eddie the Eagle, which is really unfair. People forget the context, even at the time. It was around that same time that another good British heavyweight, Gary Mason, lost his career to a detached retina. Mason never had the same public pressure as Frank. He's a good man, a very good boxer, and a clear study in the challenges of being a successful black Brit. Don't even get me started on how Zola Budd was embraced and treated by the British press and public compared with black British athletes who proudly represented a country that never truly accepted them. I grew up in the 70s where we were the only ethnic minorities in our town. I get the need to fit in. We had no other choice. We did it and we're still not accepted by some. The idea of the good immigrant is toxic. As always, the problem of racism is for white people to fix. We can't fix it for them no matter how hard we try. And he goes, for anyone interested in the topic, I would recommend Akala's book, Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire. Just arrived 3 days ago for me. And he goes on to say, he goes, I've made the point a few times here, but just to repeat myself and you guys, Eubank was never the same after fighting Watson, and then we have to respect that. Fans talk about all sports people like they're robots who should just clock up win after win, but these are people, superhuman people, often, but still flawed human beings. Boxers put everything on the line and we reduce them to bums or criticize their records. I'm never against boxers cashing in or having the occasional tune-ups or gimmies along the way. It's fine as long as no one's pretending these are generational fights. It's why I don't criticize Canelo for the Yildirim fight, because Canelo's record in whole and recently is stacked with legit wins. It's not like Manchester United get to play Liverpool or Barcelona every week. If I have any problem with the Yildirim fight, it's with the WBC naming him a mandatory. The same organization that couldn't force a heavyweight fight between Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte, despite Whyte being ranked number 1 for 3 years.
Whoa!
That comment right there.
Whoa!
That's hard.
But I've got one because I feel like you've taken the levels up, and Timothy Thomas
I want to read another one after that.
I've got one though, and I think we might have to end with this one still. There's 2, but I'll read the first bit. AJ had no plans on speaking at all. Others asked to read, but declined. AJ made up his mind to test the waters. He now knows the true temperature. Then he comes in again and says, humans without spirit are so easily manipulated. It just takes a few sentences to imprison them. And I think, you know what? Yeah, I mean, you hold that. Round of applause, Rob. It's true. It's true. So, yeah, man, people, you already know what's coming. We got the red corner, and then we got ringside coming up as well. But thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for all the super chats, all the donations. Monday Night Smoke was crazy because we were just doing the madness about the top 5. I can't remember who got into it at the end, but I think we're happy with it. But yeah, till next time, I'm KG.
I'm Travis J. Have a good week, people.
Wicked.
Peace.
Undefeated, you're always gonna go, you ain't.
Yo, people, thanks for watching the Undefeated podcast. Make sure you
like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and all that good stuff, man. This is the place to be.
I liked it still.
Yeah, same.
I liked it. Very nice, very clean.